Zero Barriers Podcast.
Hello, what is going on? Welcome to the first episode of this brand new podcast, Zero Barriers. I am Eli, and today I'm joined by Charlie.
Hi guys, it's good to be on board.
Yeah, this is a brand new thing. I've been thinking about this for, well, I don't know, a long time now. I wanted to do this kind of thing for a couple of years, to be honest, but I don't know, just several reasons as to why I never started a podcast. I did start a blog, but, you know, the podcast is here. Yeah, so this podcast, well, what we're talking about, it's pretty much in the name, Zero Barriers. So pretty much anything and everything. Obviously, it's going to be specific topics each week and going into detail with those specific topics. I'll probably have different guests on this podcast. I'm not saying this is my podcast, but I know Charlie is, he's probably only going to be committing to it on a fortnightly basis. At this rate, the plan is to start off doing fortnightly episodes and then move into like the weekly episodes. So yeah, so it's something to look forward to, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
are you looking forward to this, Charlie?
Yeah, I am, and you know what? There's a lot of topics we can talk about that are so important to talk about, and we need this space to talk about them. Isn't that right?
Yeah, and like I said, it's Zero Barriers. Like, I know the name is a bit cringe, a little bit cringe.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, but like there's so many podcasts out there, and the names are taken, and this one is not taken. So you know, I'll jump on this. I'm gonna take this podcast's name, and you know, hopefully we go somewhere with it. But anyway. Well, we're going to spend a bit of time today just introducing what this podcast is about, who we are. I mean, most people listening probably know who we are, but the podcast, I mean, you might not know why we want to be doing this podcast. So we'll spend a bit of time talking about that, talking about what future episodes look like, what type of topics, and yeah, I guess this podcast, it's not meant to be necessarily listened to chronologically. I'm sure you agree with that, Charlie. Like,
Yeah, well, the idea is that you can pick any episode that you think's important to your situation. That's the idea. If we can help anyone, you know, if we can start generating this thinking process of anything, of any topic we talk about, we want people to start talking. We want people to start, you know, moving it around the social circles, don't we, Eli?
Yeah,
we want, you know.
and I think as well,
spread.
like there's going to be some topics where it'll be, you know, let's say men's mental health will be a podcast topic, while the next podcast topic could be something that not necessarily the same person that listened to the men's mental health podcast will be listening to. So, you know, maybe it won't be on this, but let's just say we did a podcast on the economy.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen, but it's just, you know, there's going to be podcasts that it'll be like, yeah, this adds up to me. This is something that I might enjoy listening to. And there's others that, you know,
Might find it very boring. But
Exactly.
hey, pick and choose. We didn't say this before, but this is completely raw, unscripted, unedited. Yeah.
yes, that's right. So, yeah, unscripted, unedited, that's the slogan of the podcast, I think. I did forget to mention that. So, yeah. But, no, really happy to start this. And we'll talk about some of the topics that will be playing out in this podcast. But I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, Charlie, and why you hopped on board, and then I'll do the same. So, yeah, if you want to just...
Sure, yeah. Okay, well, look, I'm Eli's friend. I think it's so important to be open about anything. Don't be stuck in your own thoughts. Yeah, share it. That's the most healthiest process of dealing with anything, dealing with any situation. No matter how stupid you think it is, no matter how silly you think it is, you know, it could be the smallest thing to the biggest thing. Yeah, share it with a mate. Even, you know, you just got to get it out there. Don't keep it in yourself. Just tell anyone. I mean, you could go to a park or whatever, and you could just yell at the top of your lungs what your issue is. You will feel so much better. I
don't recommend that, to be honest.
you could do. I know, but
you might look like everyone's looking at you like, do you do ice? Like,
no, we can't. Now, I mean, I've got a bit of a filter on what I'm saying currently because I could say some really stupid shit, and I'm not going to. So, there's a filter.
Anyway, I'm Eli. You might know who I am. You might not. Yeah. So as I said before, I've been wanting to do something like this for a couple of years now. I just never had a succinct idea of what type of topics I wanted to be covering. And then I thought there's so many things that I am passionate about. Like, why not just make it anything and everything? Like, there's zero barriers.
An idea I've had as well is what we're going to do is we're going to create a Facebook page for you to send us messages on what you want to know, on what you want us to talk about. So a bit like a call-in line. Do you think that's an idea?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah? I think social media definitely needs to be utilized to, I guess, get a grasp of what type of topics people are interested in. I'll say off the bat as well, I put this on my Instagram story a few weeks ago, and so many people were interested in either being involved or just listening to it, which is awesome. So if you're one of those people listening to it now, that's amazing, and thank you for, you know, reaching to the 7.5 minute point. Hopefully you stick around and listen to the rest. But yeah, so yeah, I want to just cover a whole lot of things. Charlie and I were going to be working on a documentary, but I thought a podcast is actually a better way. Because you can talk about various things and not look biased towards certain issues. So there's some podcast topics which I will be getting a male and female perspective on it. So I'd be the male perspective. I would get a female guest for their perspective. These will be topics like, you know, things about relationships or different topics that maybe a male might have a different opinion to a female, and it'll be basically just an open discussion. Like, for example, I would love to talk about something that's really relevant now is the Me Too movement, and you know, some males think that this movement has gone too far, and sometimes you can see that it has gone too far, but you know, there's a lot of bad stuff happening, and it's not just Hollywood. Like, women particularly being sexually harassed and sexually assaulted, and you know, it would be really good to just get a female perspective on something like that. So yeah, that's one avenue of this podcast, but it's not just restricted to that, of course, because otherwise I would not be sitting with Charlie right now.
No. You know, but completely non-biased as well, yeah. We both sides of the sort of political agenda, from, you know, your extreme left-wing to your extreme right-wing. It's important that we don't label ourselves as anything, really, and this is why we've said zero barriers, because we will get someone with very extreme views on the podcast, and it's important that their voice gets heard, and then it's important that the other voice gets heard as well, equal amounts of both.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, I plan to have discussions slash debates about particular issues from small things to larger scale. The whole point of this avenue is for it to be like an open discussion, so we can just talk about things and be open-minded, I suppose. And I know I've probably been accused before of not being open-minded enough when it comes to debates and discussions. So, and it's not like that I wasn't open-minded. I just think a lot of arguments I've had with people have been in the context of social media, and that is a platform where you can't read emotions. You can't see someone at face value. You're just seeing text on a screen, a text on a screen, sorry, and making assumptions. So, I think having this where your voice is heard, I mean, maybe it's not at, well, it will be at face value, but obviously the listeners can't see us at face value, but the person that I'll be maybe debating slash discussing important issues with, it will be at face value. And I think, it'll look more, I guess for me personally, I might come across as more open-minded than I previously might have been. So yeah, that's just another thought. But like I said, today's just all about introducing what this podcast is about. So yeah, Charlie, if you want to just hop on, and what type of topics you're specifically interested in discussing, and these will probably go for 40 minutes to an hour and 10, depending on just how we go. I mean, like we said, it's going to be unedited. So yeah, what specific topics are you interested in that you want to talk about on this podcast? And then I'll kind of go through some topics that I'll be definitely bringing up. And I guess people that are listening can kind of make their own judgments on what kind of things they're interested in hearing.
Yeah, so I mean, stuff that's really important to me is self-love, self-appreciation, not judging. As this might sound like an old sort of school of thought, but not judging a book by its cover. As silly as that sounds, it's so true. Just because a person looks a certain way, talks a certain way, earns certain things, or whatever, doesn't mean that inside that person is that way. Okay, so I think keep an open mind, appreciate everyone don't appreciate everyone on first sort of contact. I think that's a mistake that we all make. Would you not agree, Eli? That's a mistake that we can make.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Is that we don't take enough time to actually get to know the person. I think that's a problem in a lot of relationships as well, is that we don't actually take the time to get to know that person. That's one of the issues that I'd like to address. Also, social media, the effects of social media. I believe Facebook, in particular, has a lot to blame on our current society. Definitely our generation. I think we can really see the impacts that Facebook has caused.
And ironically, we're going to be talking a lot of bad stuff about social media in a lot of the podcasts, yet, like I said, ironically, we're going to be sharing this on social media.
Yeah. Look, again, it's a platform, but I don't think that people have free sort of school of thought. I think we're sort of controlled into what to think. We're sort of fed ads, and this is manipulating us, and it's sort of creating this mindset that isn't healthy at all. And I think this relates back to mental health, because what we see on social media is what we're sort of led to believe are the norms, like what we're meant to think, what we're meant to wear, what is attractive, what isn't attractive. So I'm a complete, I don't really know how to say it, but like I use social media, I use a lot of it, but I sort of have this filter where I can decipher sort of what is true and what isn't true. But I think the problem is a lot of people can't, and that's where the real issue is.
Yep. And going off that, I definitely want to delve into social media, delve into the idea of self-love. If you haven't picked up by now that this is basically a live podcast.
It is a live podcast. Hey, it's unscripted. We said that from the start, didn't we? It is unscripted.
So essentially, we'll pick a topic each week. Charlie won't always be here with me. There's several other people that are keen to jump on board. I'll probably be in every one, if not most, but I know that Charlie would be happy to host them as well. But and I got my good friend Lewis, who may or may not be listening to this first one, who will be sitting and having a chat with me for a lot of them as well. But yeah, and then we'll have several other guests who I'm keen to chat to, and sometimes it will just be that person and myself, or sometimes there'll be, a few of us talking. But we'll just see how it goes. But essentially, I will pick a topic with Charlie or Lewis each week and go from there. Like, basically pick the topic, pick who's coming on, or whoever's interested in coming on, and chat about it, unscripted, unedited.
Live.
Yep. And so I don't know, I've got a few ideas myself as well, and like I said, it's basically a live podcast, but also delving into, I think things that typically males our age, and I know Charlie would agree with me on this, that they wouldn't necessarily talk about a lot, and I think it's important to talk about. So like, a lot to do with relationships. I'd love to talk about hookup culture, the world of Tinder and online dating.
Yeah.
It's a spicy topic,
Yeah.
and there's a lot to be said about it, to be honest. We'll both get into our opinions on that at a future time. And I've already mentioned the idea of self-love, which Charlie's spoken about. Men and women perspectives on topic. I've spoken about arguments and debates. But just like lots of topics, like, and if someone is passionate about something and they want to talk about it, like, let's talk about it. Like, contact me, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you hear it, contact me and say, look, I'm listening to your podcast. I would love to talk about a specific topic. I'd love to debate or just have a discussion about it. Or if there's something that you've picked up and you're like, you know what, that doesn't agree with, I don't agree with that, then I'm happy to chat about it. Like I said, I want to be more open-minded. And just going off other topics that I'm keen on. Why men don't open up, why men are killing themselves. Basically, like I just said, just generally keen to just chat shit on anything that interests me. So, yeah, if you have an idea you're passionate about, I'd love to talk. I think Charlie mentioned before, self-expression is amazing. I feel like this is the most positive way for myself and Charlie to, like, convey our point of view. And I said before, I've been probably accused of not being open-minded enough. This is a good way to show that I'm not misunderstood. Like, well, I am misunderstood. So this is a good way to show that I'm often misunderstood, and I actually have a fairly common ground with people on a lot of things.
But hey, wouldn't it be boring if we all agreed? Wouldn't it?
That's it. I think if you, and this goes to relationships, but past that as well. Like, why, like, people get in relationships with people that are exactly the same as them, and they wonder why they're bored or the relationship doesn't work. Or when people have these picture perfect relationships where they don't argue with the person, but then they still end up breaking up. And it's like, is it boredom? Is it because you didn't argue? Because I feel like arguing is healthy. So that's another topic I would love to talk about. That sounds
like a really juicy topic to get in with. Yeah, look, Eli, I think these are all great topics, and I'm just keen to, get into it. Take a juicy chunk of topic. There's so many topics that we're passionate and really, really campaigning for. So yeah, we're looking forward to sharing these ideas with you.
Yep. Well, hopefully this past 20 minutes or so, you've kind of got a grasp on what's going to be talked about. Obviously, it's going to be different each podcast, so we can't specifically say, like, it's going to be about this and this and this, but essentially we're covering topics that aren't talked about, or if they are talked about, they're talked about by influencers or famous people and people that you look up to, and it's like, oh, it's great that these people can talk about them, but do you get just average, I wouldn't say, yeah, I guess we're just average people.
We're your average Joe. It is raw. It's unscripted. So yeah, we're gonna stuff up. We're gonna make mistakes. We're human. Whatever. Look, I'm keen. Eli's keen. Nothing else to say, really.
Yeah, that's it. I think we've said some ideas. Obviously, another one I'm really interested in is self-expectations that people put on themselves. But I've said lots of ideas. So is Charlie. Probably going to start off with a fortnightly basis just for the first few episodes, and then do it weekly. And so I'll have different guests on the week that Charlie isn't around for, or is maybe just topics that he's not as interested in.
But that's the idea. There are no, we pick and choose. We want to hear from you as well. We're going to open it up to everyone. We want as much feedback and as commentary from you guys as from us. And that's the idea. Share it. This isn't us. This isn't between us. We don't own this podcast. You guys own it.
That's true. And I hate, like, when I'm talking to people, like, I'm starting a podcast, and then later I'll reference the podcast and say it's the podcast instead of saying my podcast. But truly, it's not my podcast. I want to reiterate that it's a podcast, it's the podcast. I don't think exclusively it's mine or ours, or this is a platform that I've sort of set up for different opinions and different voices to be heard from prominently young people, but all
ages. And that's another topic as well, age bias. Yeah. Yeah, cool. All right, okay, well, that's an intro. Brief summary of what we're going to get into. Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, on that note, we're going to be jumping into our first topic. Most topics will be the whole episode, so we'll go on, like I said, for about 40 minutes to over an hour, and we'll talk about that topic, but we'll also delve into smaller topics like that could be related to that main topic. And we'll probably get sidetracked and go on tangents and, like I said,
Eli's
unscripted, unedited. My Eli's rants, that's going to be a thing.
It's going to be that jingle.
I think I've already gone on a rant, and it's episode 1. No, but today we're not doing a full topic. Well, we are doing a full topic. It's going to be a
shortened.
Yeah, something that is, brief enough to talk about in 20, 25 minutes, but, we're not going to be sitting here for an hour talking about it. We probably couldn't sit here for an hour, or maybe we could. We could.
It's already been 25 minutes, so what's 30, what's 60?
Don't mind the dogs in the background, by the way, guys. Blame Charlie for that one.
Yeah, sorry, we've got, problems. Look, it's live. It's, I'm in my parents' basement. That's where that's where they keep me. Okay.
We're
What's
actually
up?
going to start talking about this topic, though. The year of 2021. We are 4 months in, which is crazy to me. It's gone really fast. But even 2020, which was really slow and pretty terrible in my personal experience, even that went fairly quickly. So 2021, even quicker. Life is good. I mean, things are opening up. Dance floors are back. It feels like we're going into normal or the new normal at last, I'm not hearing about coronavirus every day. I'm not even thinking about it every day, so...
Yeah. I think, but you got to obviously be aware, don't you? It's just common shit.
Of course. And to be honest, we could have another lockdown, as soon as we get a couple cases spiking up, we could get another lockdown, but we are at this stage where vaccinations are rolling out, so, soon enough, and hopefully this extends past Australia, because obviously I'm just talking in the Australian context, lockdowns aren't a thing anymore. Hopefully, once people are getting vaccinated, or, at least the vulnerable people are getting vaccinated, we don't have the need for a lockdown. Obviously, vaccination, and we spoke about this a little bit before the podcast today, about vaccination and, I guess it's a good topic, I guess the option of getting vaccinated
low key, though, I don't know, there's blood clots with this AstraZeneca stuff, and
it's so rare, but
it's rare, but I don't know, man. I'm pretty
skeptical
sketchy.
too. And I'm not anti-vax at all.
Yeah.
I am very pro-vaccination. I have all my vaccines for everything, but when it comes to the COVID vaccine, it's just does the risk outweigh the benefits?
Yeah,
does the benefits outweigh the risks?
There's so many unanswered questions. Overall, COVID, we don't even know where it came from. We don't, you know what I mean? It's just, there's this whole sort of paranoia about the whole thing, and, I'm just really unsure on everything, so,
Yeah, and where do we go next? I mean, like we said, vaccinations, once everyone's getting vaccinated, are we okay to just resume our lives? I mean, I guess lives have been resumed. Some people's lives didn't really change that much, but are we okay to just have things the way they were before? Because I went out clubbing on the weekend and seemed pretty normal to me. I mean, it was smaller capacity, but this is how I used to feel. This is what it was like. I don't see much of a difference, and I don't know if that's just me or... obviously some things have changed, but people talk about the new normal, but...
What is the new normal?
Exactly. I feel like it's just the old normal.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me. I mean, obviously some things are different. Maybe I don't pick up on it.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all those workers, frontline workers, who are dealing with COVID head-on.
Still now.
Still,
yeah. I mean, obviously not as much in Australia now, but... Yeah. You got frontline workers in Australia still who are handling the cases that are coming in from overseas, which are still happening pretty much daily. They get them into hotel quarantine, and those poor workers and airline staff, it's...
Yeah, I read an article today, travel's not going to resume for another 4 years, or...
What is it?
Travel. International travel.
Okay. And to be honest, that doesn't surprise me. We got the bubble opening up at the end of this month with New Zealand.
New Zealand. That's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But you're right. Travel, when COVID was first happening, this was March, but I'm talking around June. They were saying travel probably won't open up, international travel, for another couple of years. That was before, second waves and... and this COVID has escalated to quite another level. So, it's something that's unfortunate, but what do? You live your best life. You tell your kids in 15, 20 years, I lived through a pandemic.
Touch wood. The desk is made of wood, so... Look, yeah, no, it's still far from over. We're so much better off compared to the rest of the world. Yeah, and we blame our politicians, we blame the premier and whatever, but truthfully, they've done a great job. They've done a great job. Who are we to really, criticize? What could they have done? Yeah, I'm not talking about Andrews down in Melbourne yet. No, another conversation, other topic.
I could go on a rant about Dan Andrews. That's... That is his fault.
Look, no, they had a problem. He had to deal with it, and he dealt with it. Look, Melbourne's back open. Yeah, we're not going to talk about this.
500 deaths in Melbourne? But, okay.
Nah.
For real.
Yeah, cool. All right, okay, no, 2021. Are we going to see flying cars by the end of the year? Probably not. We're going to see sex robots. Yeah, they already exist, don't they? What are we going to see? We're going to see... What else are we going to see? There's going to be a lot of changes. Climate. Fuck. Have we got big fires again, end of the year? Is it going to be another repeat of 2019? Who knows? We've had a lot of rain, so a lot of regrowth. So fingers crossed.
You're really just talking climate now, are we?
Yeah, that's another topic. But that's the. Seriously though, there's a lot of climate anxiety, and I wouldn't be surprised. The generation after us, they're gonna probably. I mean, seriously, I think there's gonna be some form of climate depression. I don't know.
Climate depression.
Depression.
It goes to the fact, alright, people think there's people that are very far left-winged, and they say to me, you deny climate change, even though I never do and I never said that. Maybe I don't take it as seriously as other people. I believe in climate change. The thing I find with it is I don't like the amount of fear and anxiety that it is going into it. Obviously, it's something serious and something we've got to deal with, but do not spend your every day worrying about climate change. Do your part, but if you're a regular citizen, all you can really do is advocate if you strongly believe in it, vote for the politicians that are going to benefit you, but apart from that, don't live your life in fear because some 16-year-old German kid. I don't even think she's German, is she?
She's Swedish.
She's Swedish. Okay.
Greta Thunberg.
Okay, don't live your life in fear that I think she's 18 now, Greta. And don't live your life in fear that an 18-year-old Swedish kid who probably gets most of her information from her parents anyway, is telling you about this. Because, look, the thing with science, and I listened to a short 5-minute podcast about science just this morning, actually. Oh, yeah. And the thing with science is this podcast was making the point that it's just science is made to be proved wrong. And when you think about it, it's true. When Einstein came out with his theory of relativity, that's the theory, right? I believe so.
It's the theory. Science is always changing. That's the beauty of it.
But 100 people wrote books denying his theory. Okay, that's fine. That's kind of what you want.
Yeah, healthy. You've got to have criticism. You've got to have someone telling you that you're wrong, and then you've got to improve it. Another topic, religion, okay. Very strict confines of Christianity. Can't think outside of it, And there's people who live their life by the Bible. I just feel that they're so sort of restricted in their thought process. I know there's a lot of other Christians that are completely free and, just use it as a holy text that was written 1,000 years ago, and that's it. But then there are people that base their entire life on the Bible. Yeah,
and I think as well, there's on that, there's, there's a lot of information out there about, different religions and them doing that, living in their own circles. And you look at Islam, it's the same thing. And
very restricted for process. Yeah, this is hot water.
it is hot water. Religion is very hot water.
We dipped our tippy toe into the pool of hot water, and it's starting to burn. So we're gonna retract.
Wait, save it for a rainy day. Not even a rainy day. Save it for when you're snowed in for 6 months and you got nothing else to talk about because you're just making podcasts for 6 months because you can't leave your house, which will never happen unless
fourth wave.
I was going to say climate change goes some crazy
to crazy. No, seriously, that's a real issue facing us as a generation at the moment. And you know what? We're going to be the ones dealing with it. It's not going to be our parents, it's going to be us. So Greta was entirely right. I think she brought a fresh approach to climate change and the whole debate over it. I know there's a lot of fear-mongering over the whole thing. Again, that brings me on to another topic of social media.
Can I interrupt quickly?
Yeah.
I would disagree. I would say that she didn't bring a fresh perspective. I just thought that she just brought a child into things so it'll connect with the youth, which tick, well done. Greta's done that. Good job. But she didn't say anything new. All the things she's saying, people have been saying for the past 10 years. There's nothing new to what she was saying.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
Yep, that's true. And
she literally just said the same thing, but instead of a 50-year-old white science dude with glasses, I'm just envisioning him right now. Instead of him saying it, it's a 16-year-old, so people were more empathetic. People were like, damn, she's got a point. And to be honest, this information that she's got was from her parents and was from these type of,
Yeah, but where else is she getting her information from?
Good point. And 100%, that's right.
Her age.
The point is, you're right. Yeah. She brought, a young person bringing a perspective in, but the actual information, the exact same. And nothing's changed. The same thing she said, other people have been saying for a very long time. It's the fact that people are listening now because she's young, and I think that's great. And I think more young people should definitely be voicing their opinions. That's why we're doing this podcast, right?
Yeah, totally. But I mean, no, I think she did bring a new life into the topic. She generated a lot more, and now we're speaking about it, and we, countless debates. Problem is, politicians are only in for their run. They don't really care on the changes they make. They just want to get that money,
re-elected,
their pensions re-elected, and, that's it. They don't care, really. Anyway. I mean, a lot of them are in their 50s anyway. They're going to die soon.
Wait, no, none of that. What were you going to say, though? You want to bring it to a new topic, because climate change, again, is also, hot water.
Hot water?
Hot water? Is that the...
No, I'm in the spa, and it's getting a bit hot. The guy opposite me is starting to stare at me. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I just need to...
I am in the sauna. My body is melting.
This is just... Yeah. Temperature gauge has just gone off.
Analogies. Yes.
Yes, that's what this podcast is going to be full of. And innuendos as well. It's going to be a lot of innuendos. Anyway, no, I want to... Well, we can't because we don't have a Facebook page yet, but when we do, we could say,
social media.
We're going to open this up to the chat. We're going to start reading messages out. Maybe you could even phone in. I don't know.
Don't get someone to phone in,
that might...
please.
Oh, yeah. Sharon.
Hey, this is Max. Give me a life hack.
Give me a life hack.
I actually do want to... I want to do a segment on this podcast of life hacks, or just do a podcast dedicated to life hacks, because...
It's life hacks.
I've got a lot of life hacks. The Hamish and Andy power move thing? It's like that, but just life hacks.
Go.
Basically, if anyone listens to the Hamish and Andy podcast or just knows about the Hamish and Andy power moves, essentially, each podcast or every couple of podcasts, they read out some power moves that people have submitted in, and essentially it's just a whole bunch of things that make you look like you're above everyone else. I don't know. That's a bad way to describe it. I'm gonna quickly type up and read some out for you, because just to explain this to Charlie and to anyone that doesn't know what power moves are.
There we go. What?
Like, here we go. Here's one. So, if you see a hitchhiker holding his thumb out, give it a friendly thumbs up back.
What?
It's basically just making yourself a Chad. The top. You are making yourself like probably it's
above him.
Yeah, it's
right.
That's why I don't know.
This isn't good.
I don't really explain it well, but that's a good example. And I'll read out a couple more just so people kind of know.
I don't think this is very nice.
Yeah, but anyway, that's not what a life hack is, but it would be similar to their segment.
You know, if someone calls you, "Hey, buddy," say, "Hey, nah, how's it?" Is that a power move?
I guess that's a word that we should not be saying on this podcast.
It's unscripted. It's raw. There's no filter.
I'm beeping that out. That's going to be the only edit that I put on here.
There's not a lot on here.
Anyway, yeah. Well, look, there's a book. There's a Power Moves book, and it's dedicated to Power Moves. It's by Hamish and Andy. Someone said this on. I think this is this Reddit or Twitter or something? Whenever somebody responds with "I beg your pardon," assert your dominance by announcing, then beg.
Ooh. That is a good power move. I think it's okay. I don't really like that. That's sort of
I love.
I don't like putting people down.
No, it's not putting people down. It's just
like
bit of fun and games.
You're stepping above your station. Okay, small surprise.
So when you're meeting someone for the first time who you've been told about, simply say to them, "Oh, I thought you'd be taller." And I actually use this power move all the time because I am not that tall. I'm like, 5'8", maybe? I don't know. And I do this to people all the time. And it's such a dick move. But...
That is a dick move. That is dick moves.
Anyway, so it'd be good to do a segment like that, but life hacks. So it's actually positive thing.
That's a dick move.
Yeah, cock blocking. I know. Yeah, that's
wearing a banana suit to a toga party. That's a dick move. You were meant to wear a toga, not a banana suit. You dick.
Or you're on a law cruise and someone's peacocking you. If you don't know what peacocking is, I want to do a podcast on this. Actually, someone rocks up in a banana suit on a cruise. Everyone's wearing tuxedos, and this bloke's in a banana suit, and you're like, why? And he's like, well, because it's cool. But peacocking is all about, getting attention. It works, though. It works.
Is that not a porn category? I feel like that's a category on Pornhub, like peacocking. Is that?
You have to look that up.
Nah, probably.
You have to look.
I don't know. No. Okay, we won't. Again.
Anyway, so that's a little tangent that we've just kind of gone on about.
43 minutes. That's
we've gone through. It's just been a good session so far. This is
what's the time? It's 3:12 in the afternoon.
When we're recording this. Yep.
When did we start? Well, we had our Subway.
Yeah, we did eat Subway today. Why are we talking about Subway? Anyway, going back to the point, what else does 2021 have in store?
The end of racism. I know, that's...
that is...
No, serious topic though. Serious point, valid point. Is there going to be a time when everyone is completely colorblind? And when I say colorblind, I don't mean can't see blue or red. I mean takes everyone for who they are, not the color of their skin. There's already kids being born that are like this. I know that for a fact. We've got to change the way we think and the way we've been brought up.
Well, the thing is, for me, I don't understand. I don't see how someone can look at a black guy or an Asian guy and think they're different or lower. I never have understood that. And I don't know if that's just from my upbringing and being educated, but there's genuinely people out there that have a problem with that. Like, and this goes to the topic, which is another thing I want to talk about as well, white privilege. Because white privilege definitely exists. Does it exist in the same way that people think it exists? Probably not.
You know what? Okay, this might be an unpopular opinion. Just because I'm a white male doesn't mean I have to change the way I think or do things. I mean, I'm not out hurting people. I'm not, pushing my views on people, whatever. I've got certain privileges. Yeah, I'm going to take advantage of them. Why not? Fuck that. I'm not going to change the way I live my life just because someone, just because like a 16-year-old girl on, whatever has told me that I need to do this, you're bad, you're evil, man, stop doing this. Nah, sorry. I mean, it's not my fault. I mean, I'm not accepting it's like the Germans, they're not accepting the blame for the...
Oh, that's right. And this is a big argument that people use in the modern day. Like, when we're talking about Australia Day and changing the date...
Oh, yeah, that's a big topic.
Yeah, it is a big topic. Maybe January next year, I will talk about this with someone, maybe even you, but essentially... We don't blame Germans for the Holocaust, so why are we blaming the whites
for the
slaughter of Aboriginals? Yeah. None of us, Anyway, it's a saucy topic again.
Saucy topic. The water's starting to boil. It's getting too hot.
Oh, this sauna's heating up. Woo. I can just see the steams roll off the rocks right now in the sauna room. Yeah.
We're gonna get a gauge in the room that just like me, like the fire danger rating.
Yes. Just kind of... The meter. Maybe that'd be like the podcast picture for each episode. Like how heated is this?
Oh my god, yeah, and you could base that on.
Or we could use like Nando's sauce. Like it'll be like lemon and herb if it's really tame, but we'll go to like extreme if it's
extreme hot.
Yeah, they're like me. They use peri peri seasoning on the chips because
they like it a bit. They live life on a bit of danger.
I'll get the Supremo burger with the very hot, and then I'll get the extreme sauce on top. That's how heated.
Another topic. Why are there not enough Nando's around?
That's true.
There's like one. I swear to God.
It's because we live in the mountains. There's like nothing
but
here.
Even in Sydney, there's like only one Nando's. And that's in Penrith.
That is not true. There's probably more than one.
Where? Like,
I saw one in the city the other night. I was like, could really do with Nando's right now. It's 3 a.m.
Oh, God. Yeah. Cheeky Nando's. That's such a British thing as well.
It is. I love cheese.
It's always like a reference to it's a subculture.
Anyway, so going back to it, point of this is there's a lot of topics that are heated, and it's 2021, and I think it's time we start talking about them. And you're allowed, and in my opinion, you're allowed to have an opinion, even if it's not the popular one. I mean, they always talk about this in politics, the silent majority, and it's very much true. I mean, I think the last Australian election, Labour were projected to absolutely smash it out of the park, and that did not happen. And the reason why is because you have all these people at home who are scared to voice their opinion on any type of social media or just in general, but then come to election day, they vote Liberal, and then Liberal get in. And it's like, well, this is because everyone is just silencing and shutting down these people who have these opinions because it's not deemed the popular opinion, but in the end it is the popular opinion. So it's interesting.
I'm gonna agree with you.
The landscape is just insane.
I mean, it's not healthy if the both of us agree on the same topic, but I do agree with you. There is this culture of this sorry culture. Is that even a thing? Sorry culture? Is that,
I don't know. I think so. And I think
apologizing for everything.
That's right.
Oh, sorry. Oh, she. I can't call you she now. Oh, I'm so sorry. Why should I be sorry? I was brought up to call he, she. I'm not going to change the way I speak just because some trans on Facebook's thrown some sort of spit.
It is true though. Like, I posted a couple of months ago and I said, not all men are bad. I posted it on my Instagram story. That is all I said, right? That's all I said. This was when all these people were posting about sexual harassment and sexual assault and all that. And I just posted, not all men are bad. And this bloke, he replies to me, someone who I considered sort of a friend, like, I'm not his enemy. And he goes, basically, what the F? Like, come on, women this and men this. And I go, dude, like, I just said not all men are bad. I don't need to sit here and apologize for myself if I don't think I've done anything wrong. Like, not all men have done this, like, awful things. And I know, and I think females know that. And,
they're just going along with this trend. Oh yeah, we'll follow the leader. Yeah, it's this pathetic, and there'll be men, young boys growing up being subjected to this bullshit. And when it's this toxic culture that's been allowed to grow through social media, and people are just drip feeding it, and it is taking over. It really is taking over. So I don't know.
It goes both sides too.
Yeah.
I will retaliate. I will reiterate that this is not just a, like, females saying this and then males not feeling comfortable about that, because it's not true, if that makes sense. But, like, males do the exact same thing. Like, maybe not publicly, but males might say stuff about females and it's not true, but yet females were just chucked in this stereotypical, like, this is what a female is, this is what they do. I don't know.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Like,
okay.
There's a sort of
perceived
idea of what I think a female should look like.
No, it's not about that at all. I'm
saying
saying that there is... Do you know what an incel is, right? Like,
No, tell me what an incel is.
Okay, so basically it's a bunch of males on Reddit, and the best way to sum it up is they think they're entitled to females, and they think they're entitled... I know, that's it's just disgusting. And look, there's probably incels listening to this, but they think that they have the right to have sex with women, and then they complain being like, oh, women aren't having sex with me because it's their fault. Like, what? And it's like, I've been the nice guy, I've done all the right things, it's got me nowhere. Like... No, but this is my point.
Yeah.
Going back to it, like, there's males saying this about females, like, oh, females they're terrible, like, they always end things, they always leave, and and I've seen incels bring up this point about, like, 80% of relationships are ended by the female, and they go on about that, and they go, you know what, like, what's the point, like, I've tried everything.
That is toxic.
It is very toxic.
Toxic.
But the point of that is that it's just like females going on and accusing all males of being sexual abusers and harassers, or just... I don't know.
But isn't it the Russians controlling everything on Facebook anyway? It is.
What?
They seem to be behind everything. It's all these fake accounts, and that's what I don't like about Facebook. There are fake accounts with a hidden political agenda behind it. That's true. And they were responsible for Donald Trump's election in 2014, was it? They really were. So I blame Facebook for every single thing. Everything in the world.
This world, why is it here? Facebook.
9/11. Facebook.
Charlie's gone, and he's been moved to the naughty corner of the room after that take. Sheesh.
Joining us next is Alan Jones.
Oh, mate, we'll bring on Pauline or something.
Yeah, we've got Pauline on the phone.
None of that. Come on.
No, okay, sorry. Look, yeah, it's been fun. It shows what two men can achieve. No, I'm God, sorry. Someone put a muzzle around my mouth. I can't. But yeah, cool. All right, okay.
Okay, we're gonna wrap that up here. Thanks for listening. If you've listened to the whole 55 plus minutes of this, respect.
Gold star.
God, that's not a thing. Follow us. If you want to get in touch about topics or any feedback. Right now, we don't have an Instagram or Facebook. That might happen in the future. My Instagram is at e.li.maynard. So that's at e.li.maynard. What's yours, Charlie? No, the plug is, if people have any ideas, message me. I'm really keen to hear them. And I'm keen to have lots of people on. I got about 15 people interested and lined up to be on the podcast.
Can we have a three-way?
First you said two men, what two men can achieve, and now it's...
What three men can achieve?
No.
What about four? No. An orgy of ideas. It's crazy. But it could work. It could work.
Okay, no, seriously though. Got any ideas? Message me on Instagram. Charlie?
Yeah, no...
Don't message you on Instagram?
Don't message me on Instagram. I'm very sorry for mentioning. I'm not going to bring it up again, actually.
So yeah, I guess Charlie doesn't want to be Instagrammed, DM'd.
I don't believe in self-plugging.
It's not a self-plug.
No, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Subscribe to the podcast, Apple Music and Spotify. So yes, subscribe.
YouTube as well.
Possibly. That might possibly be
bonus footage. That's always a plus. Yeah.
What happens behind the scenes?
Yeah, like, where did the banana go? There.
Okay. No, yeah, seriously. So yeah, make sure to subscribe. So yes, subscribe on Apple Music Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And what other podcast platforms there is. Yeah. I'm sure I'll be making sure to upload these to those type of ones. But look, I assume most people just listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So yeah. And as I said, if you got topics you're interested in talking about or you want us to talk about, Instagram is the way. We'll look at setting up an Instagram or a Facebook page. We'll see what happens. Yeah, so that's the podcast, and that is also a little bit about 2021 and a bit of ranting and tangents, which is what this is going to be like.
Yeah, please forgive us. We don't mean what we say.
Yes.
Well, it's a bit contradictory, but anyway, cool.
Podcast will be out fortnightly basis for the first probably 3 episodes, and then after that I'll look into uploading on a permanent basis. Topic from topic each podcast are unscripted, unedited,
raw, live,
0 barriers.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
I'm sure I forgot to say something, but that's episode 1. Thanks for listening.
Kids see ghosts.
Kids, that's the jumper I'm wearing. Correct. So yeah, thanks for listening. It's almost been an hour. This will probably roughly be how long they go for. Just stick it on driving or just at home.
We're at the gym.
That's when I listen to podcasts. The best time is at the gym.
At the gym. Driving for myself. That's probably when I listen to my podcast.
There you go. So there you go.
There we
just
go.
Chuck it on when you feel like it, I guess. So hopefully you enjoyed. And that's episode 1. Thanks for listening to the whole thing. Like I said, get in touch on Instagram for now, and we'll see where we go from here. The first 3 episodes will be fortnightly basis, so I'll release another one in a fortnight, and then another one a couple weeks after that. And then after episode 3, I will probably do it weekly, which will be fun.
Yeah.
And this has been Eli and Big Charles.
Big Charles.
Zero Barriers Podcast.
Fun.
We shall see you next time.
And that is 60 minutes. Dead on.
There you go. Well,
Bravo.
it will be a bit over.
It will be a bit over.
But you know what? That's great. And Charlie will probably be joining me on the next one as well. But yeah, that's episode 1. And if, like I said, follow us, subscribe, contact me if you want to discuss something.
Or be on the podcast yourself.
Exactly.
Or send us fan mail. That could work.
That's not a thing.
It will be a thing.
Okay. Thank you again, guys. Catch you later.